Xbox has yet again been pretty busy over the past week, and we have a ton of huge Xbox February updates to go through, including new games being announced, and we even have a huge new feature coming to our consoles, which is available right now. With that, my name is Fletcher, and this is Xbox Nation, and let's just dive right into it. I might as well start with some pretty huge news, and that's because Wolfenstein 3 could finally be in the works. According to a report from MP First, a casting call has essentially been uncovered tied to the project. This appears to be our first look at the plot details. The project is known as codename Valkyrie and is attached to two people who have previously worked on several Machine Games titles, that being the performance director Tom Keegan and casting director Emily Schweber. Keegan directed performances for the cast of Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, so it could be pretty decent seeing him return. Reportedly though, the story will center around a character named Sophia. She is being described as a Ukrainian orphan aged 8 to 11, who then forms a bond with William Blazkowicz, the franchise's main protagonist of course. The young character is also said to be traumatized by the war, making her suspicious, but she's ultimately being labelled as a strong survivor. There's still no exact confirmation from the studio as of yet, but we may be actually inching closer to finishing the full Wolfenstein trilogy. I will of course drop more information as it does drop. Man, I'm super hyped for this one. Do let me know if you want a new Wolfenstein game down below, and how you're feeling about the plot points so far. It's certainly been a pretty busy week for Xbox news as of last week, and you may have seen me cover all of the updates in some of my previous couple of videos now. I won't cover it too much today, but a little bit of news did drop after my latest video, and that was including a video that surfaced online about Phil Spencer and the new CEO for Xbox, Asher Sharma. Posting over on social media pretty recently, Xbox exec Aaron Greenberg did share a video of Phil Spencer now introducing the new Xbox leader to what seems like a massive number of employees at Microsoft HQ. There is clearly a ton of respect here for Phil Spencer inside of Team Xbox and Microsoft as a whole, and it's kind of nice also seeing Sharma appreciating his massive contributions to the brand over the past 12 years. It's also nice to see a very warm welcome as well to Asher, as she has now just started a new role at Xbox, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what the future holds under this brand new leadership. It's just getting pretty exciting. In a bit of surprising news, the Halo the Master Chief Collection has now gotten a surprise update on both your Xbox consoles and PC, with the Halo team actually focusing on an upgrade to the game's existing feature known as Exchange. The Exchange is essentially a post-launch MCC feature where players can earn Spartan points to then grab gear customizations, and in this new update, almost all of the available Exchange content will be available to grab in perpetuity. Basically, most of the gear in the Exchange is now available for you to grab with no time limits at all, which is awesome to see. The team has also made a note that the few remaining limited drops will crop up on quarterly rotations, so you'll still have to keep an eye out for those if what you're after still isn't available in this expanded exchange system. Some of those rotations are detailed in the patch notes, where Halo Studios also reveals that a set of customization items have only appeared in the game once, which are now being gifted to anyone who simply logs on to the Master Chief Collection at any point in time. It's probably worth a cheeky MCC login just to grab that gear, but then again, I'm never complaining about some nice quality of life updates for these older titles. Of course, the huge Xbox February 2026 update has just dropped towards the end of last week, and is now being rolled out by Xbox, and this update brings some new features across our consoles, PC, and handheld devices. We're actually looking at higher resolution streaming for Xbox Cloud Gaming on our consoles, new navigation sounds on the Xbox PC app, and then some improvements as well to the ROG Xbox Ally experience as our main updates this time around. Obviously, the most notable one of course will be the updated bitrate streaming on our consoles for the very first time. I've actually been seeing many details online stating that Xbox Cloud Gaming specifically on console has been getting way more popular as time's been going on, and it was always a shame that 1440p streaming was limited to both our PCs and also mobile devices. Right now though, the rollout has occurred, and if you're on the Xbox Series X and S consoles as well as Xbox One consoles, you can now play games at 1440p resolution if you are part of Game Pass Ultimate. This is going to be a huge uplift, and of course makes games look much better across the board and makes the servers way more viable now. I would be keen to hear if you're using this and your thoughts on Xbox Cloud Gaming so far in the comments below. In addition to this, you may have seen my brief touch on it in last week's video, but the Xbox UI navigation sounds have now made their transition across to our PC and handheld devices, so if you do use any of those, you can now expect it to feel more console-like than we've ever seen before. The last update then was also surrounding the Xbox ROG Ally devices, and Xbox have now rolled out the Advanced Shader Delivery Indicator. This means you will now see a notice on the game loading screen of supported titles indicating if graphic shaders were pre-compiled. Beyond these core features though, Xbox has also highlighted some new games for its handheld compatibility program, new Xbox Play Anywhere editions, more stream your own game titles, more games for mouse and keyboard support, as well as new updates for Xbox Retro Classics. But if you do want to see all of those details, do check out the link to my website down below. Talking of checking things out though, do make sure to also subscribe, as over 67% of you are not subscribed to the largest independent Xbox channel here on YouTube. I will have some more news dropping this week alongside reviews of some huge upcoming games such as Planet of Lana 2, Marathon, Crimson Desert and so much more. So definitely subscribe, as you won't want to miss out, as these are all going to be Xbox console focused reviews. With that though, let's dive into the rest of the news coming our way which did occur over the past week. Last week technically marked the first Xbox Game Studios release of 2026. The game of course was Towerborn, which has been in early access for years now, but is only officially getting its 1.0 release. It does feel like a brand new game in many ways, as the developers have essentially vastly reworked the experience for launch, and they've now transitioned it away from a free-to-play experience into a solid paid one. The game is now $25 or about 20 quid here in the UK, and it fully functions offline, although it does come with online co-op support if you choose to delve into it. The devs have also been implementing a very deep structural rebuilding for much of the past year to really accommodate this brand new experience. If you've never tried the early access version of Towerborn, it was essentially a side-scrolling action RPG which was developed by Stoic, the same studio behind Banner Saga. It sees you competing solo or with up to 3 other players in a story campaign where you'll need to defend the Belfry and then push back the corruption threatening humanity's survival. I have actually chucked up the new features on screen for you now, but it includes some lovely additions. The main bits for me though are just a fully comprehensive campaign which I cannot wait to dive into, alongside some new bosses and a better scaling / leveling system. If you've ever played the original early access, that leveling system was pretty bad in my opinion, so this change is pretty welcome. As mentioned though, it is available on Xbox Game Pass as of right now for Ultimate, Premium and PC, and to be honest, it's totally worth checking out. I know that many of you have been clamoring for a way to filter through the Microsoft Store and search through the hundreds of Xbox games that are on sale at any point in time, so I'm going to be pleased to tell you that some new sort by options have been spotted this week and should be available on your Xbox consoles as of today. I noticed this from Idle Sloth over on Twitter, who then posted the finding from a Reset Era user named Clippy, and it gives us a better look at this feature. I've actually popped my store on screen for you now, but for example, the discount high to low filter is much appreciated, especially as it now allows you to look at any individual sale and start with the most discounted games first. The most wishlisted tab supposedly shows you the games that players have been adding to their wishlist the most on the Xbox platform, and you can see the top 5 which are on screen for you now. Ultimately, it may seem like a small feature for some of you out there, but it's great seeing more in-depth features finally being added that a community have been wanting for so bloody long. In some better news though, I have been seeing a ton of praise lately regarding the release of Final Fantasy VII Remake onto Xbox, and it's been a pretty fantastic port across the board. News outlet Automaton caught up with the trilogy's co-director Hamaguchi-san to find out how it fared on launch and if they're happy with the Xbox and Switch platforms. Asked whether the Switch 2 and Xbox versions of Final Fantasy Remake are doing well, he had this to say. To be frank, the response has been extremely positive. I feel that both the Nintendo Switch 2 and the Xbox Series X and S versions have been very strong launches. The game is ranking highly on digital storefronts, and physical copies are selling out at major retailers too, so the numbers clearly show strong performance. Honestly, that is just excellent to hear. It's kind of odd to think how a sub-series which has in the past enjoyed so much massive presence within the industry has kind of needed a comeback story after FF7's rebirth softer than anticipated PS5 launch, but every piece of sales news that I've heard so far about both chapters since then has been quite the relief of course. Here's hoping it does also go strong for Rebirth's release onto our Xbox consoles this year. We also had some news which just occurred today, and Xbox have now revealed the next 6 games leaving Xbox Game Pass in early March 2026. We have a few notable games in here, including Enter the Gungeon and an older F1 title in the form of F1 23, but don't get me wrong, there aren't really any major losses this time around. One other thing that is worth noting though is that Bratz Rhythm and Style is on this list, and it only joined Xbox Game Pass back in December, so I'll have to keep an eye on whether that one is actually going to be leaving or if its inclusion is indeed an error. We should also have the Xbox Game Pass news, which should be dropping as of tomorrow regarding the brand new games which we should have in the wave 1 of March, so do stay tuned and subscribe as you don't want to miss out on my news video when that does drop. I also want to give a very big shout out as well to Hazardor Gaming, as he does a great job in bringing all this news info to us together. So do check him out with the links below to his Twitter if you do want to keep up with the latest and greatest Xbox news. Whilst here though, do make sure to check out the video on screen now to find out what games are heading to Xbox and Game Pass this week.